Shabbat Shalom. I'm Drew Porter. I'm standing in for Rabbi Dan, whose wife is home sick with COVID and who is home hoping that he does not have COVID. I think we all hope that you don't have COVID, Rabbi Dan. Hopefully you're watching. Also wanted to say hi to Barry and Laura, who I know are out there watching. Shabbat Shalom to you guys. So, we're here to celebrate Shabbat, to make our transition from the working week into our probably most important holiday, the weekly holiday, a day of rest. We have a very intimate gathering this evening, and so you're invited to virtually sit down at our table and join us. So we're going to start. We've already lit our Shabbat candles and had our challah as part of the dinner that we had earlier. So we're going to jump right into the service, and we're going to start on page 7 and 9 with Yedid Nefesh. The transliteration is the first 2 lines on page 9. The Hebrew is the first 2 lines on page 7. So use whatever script you would like to use, and let's sing Yedid Nefesh. Yedid Nefesh av harachaman, Yedid Nefesh av harachaman, meshochav eretz onecha, yarutz avdecha kemohaya, yishtachav Yalalalai el muhadarecha, Yedid Nefesh av harachaman, Yedid Nefesh av harachaman, meshochav Eretz onecha, yarutz avdecha kemoaya, yishtachav yalalalai el muhadarecha. Prayer for yearning for the Shabbat, for being in the presence of God and in the presence of those who you love. So let's turn to pages 12 and 13 and do Shalom Aleichem. And please join me if you feel comfortable. I'm not here to solo tonight. I'm happy to solo, but I really would, I consider it a success if you sing along with me. We haven't done it in a while. I realized that when no one started singing when I was singing it. Thank you. So Shalom Aleichem, another song of welcoming Shabbat. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Bohem leshalom, Malachei hashalom, Malachei elyon. Mi melech, Malachei hamlachim, Nile Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Yon Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlochim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedchem LeShalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlochim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And the English, welcome among us, messengers of Shalom, angels of the highest one, from deep within us, majesty of majesties, the blessed Holy One. Come then in Shalom, blessing us with Shalom, leaving us with holy Shalom. From deep within us, majesty of majesties, the blessed Holy One. Let's go to page 41. 41, yes, 41. L'chado D. Another welcoming Shabbat melody song, and the prayer imagines Shabbat as a bride, and that you are, and I've always thought this was a tiny bit sexist. So if you would like to imagine a groom, that would be just fine. I don't know that I can change the words for that, but you know, use your imagination if you would like to welcome a groom instead of a bride. Lechado di likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nekabela, lechado di likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nekabela. Shamur v'zachor b'dibur echad, Ishmi'anu el ham-yuchad, Adonai echad, U'shemo echad, L'shem u'tiferet ve'litila, Lechado di likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nekabela, Lechado di likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nekabela. And we go to page 43, second verse, both in the English and the Hebrew. Mikdash melech ir melucha, kumitei metoch hafecha, rav shevet yemet habacha, vehu yachamo alaychem la, lechado di likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nekabela, lechado di likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nekabela. And we go to the top of 45, both in the Hebrew and in the middle of the page in English. Hitoreri, hitoreri, Kiva orech kumi ori, uri, uri, shir gaveri, bless you. Kevod Adonai alayich nigla, lecha dodi likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekavela, lecha dodi likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekavela. And the last verse on page 47, so it's the second verse in both the Hebrew and the English. Boi v'shalom ateret bala, gam besimcha uvsohola, tochemune am segula, boi chala, lecha dodi likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela, lecha dodi likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela. So what's that? I know we didn't, but that's okay. I did, on behalf of all of you. So that was the service before the service, the Kabbalat Shabbat, which is meant to get you in the mood and to start the break from the work week and get you sort of relaxed and breathing deeply and ready to have a day of joy and rest and study if you care to study, exercise if you care to exercise, or doing nothing if you care to do nothing. That's the beauty of this holiday, and again, I think I know we have our high holidays, Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, but I think this, our weekly holiday, is probably the most important holiday in terms of living a life Jewishly. So we're going to turn to page 57 for the Baruch Hu, and Jeff, would you like to come up and get us ready for the Baruch Hu?
Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you hear me, my song? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Yada-di-di-di, 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 yada-di-di-di. Barechu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Leolam Vaed. Leolam Vaed. Yalla lai lai lai, 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 yalla lai lai lai.
Baruch Hu, the call to prayer. The beginning of the actual Erev Shabbat service, and that was a lovely solo by Jeff that never fails to bring a tear to my eye, his beautiful tenor voice. Let's see, so we've heard the call to prayer, now let's pray. We're going to go to page 65. The Shema, for those of you whose tradition it is to stand, please feel free to do so. For For those of you whose tradition it is to sit, please feel free to do so. Even if it's not your tradition, please feel free to do whatever you would like and whatever moves you this evening. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Hashem, Kevod Malechuto, Leolam Vaed. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha, bechol levavcha, ubechol nafshecha, ubechol meodecha. Vehayu hadevarim ha'ele, asher anochi mitzavecha, hayom al levavecha, v'shinantam levanecha, v'dibarta bam, v'shivtecha, v'veitecha, u'lechtecha v'derech, u'v'shochbecha, u'v'kumecha, u'kshartam leot, al yodecha, v'hayu letotafot, beinenecha, u'chtavtam, al mezuzot beitecha, u'visharecha. So I'm going to take a little break right here and do a really, really short devar. And I'm sort of winging this too, but I wanted to talk tonight about L'Dor V'Dor, from generation to generation. It's a phrase that you're going to find in many parts of our liturgy, including the Amidah, and it speaks to the idea that as Jews today, as parents, as grandparents, as friends, that there is a responsibility for passing on what it is that we feel, how it is that we live our lives, not so much because it's commanded, but because it's desired. Being Jewish is a choice. You choose to be Jewish every day. Even if you weren't born Jewish and you convert to Judaism, you choose it every day. And you can not choose it. And I think we all know Jews that we grew up with who have not chosen. And L'Dor V'Dor says, yes, I've chosen, but yes, I'm going to live a life that represents the way I want the lives of people to be now and forevermore. So I wanted to just throw a question out to everyone that's here. What does that mean to you? What does L'Dor V'Dor mean to you? As I said, as parents, as grandparents, as friends. Okay, oh, great. Thank you, Jeff. Theatrical pause. Yeah. Talk among yourselves.
Is this kind of, oh yeah.
Yeah, it's hot.
Yes, that's hot.
So, you want to start, Jeff, since you have the microphone in your hand?
What was the question again?
So the question is L'Dor V'Dor, what does it mean to you to be a Jew today and to hope that the tradition carries on?
Interesting, because I was one of those. Oh, hang on. Give me a second.
theatrical pause.
Just.
It's always tough.
We're being very, very informal tonight, so have a sip of wine while you're waiting for the microphone to come back.
Test, test, test. One,
That's
two.
better.
Is that better? No feedback.
Yeah.
Come
Now
on.
that you have the microphone, Larry,
Yes.
it's like hot potato.
It's exactly what I was thinking. So it's an interesting question because we've got 3 kids, a 30, a 29, and a 25. And every interaction with them is Lador Vador in our secular life, right? So everything that I do, every message that I send, it's like, here's what you need to carry on. Don't do that in our Jewish life. You know, which is, you know, there's a big contrast there. And it's nothing, I mean, we didn't, I came back to Judaism later on in life. So when the kids were little, we didn't have them in Beit Midrash, and we didn't have them surrounded. So it's kind of, now, you know, I can still send those messages, and Jess will come every now and again, and Barb will come every now and again, but the messages, and I guess now that I look back on it, you know, I wasn't given those tools. I mean, sure, as a family, we sat down and we had all the dinners for Passover and the dinners for Hanukkah and, you know, the Rosh Hashanah. You know, it was all the big holidays where all the cousins got together. But it wasn't, and God bless my uncle, he tried to impart, like during the Seder, like he tried to have a good Seder. Nobody would let him do it. But Uncle Ben every year tried to pull it off. So I guess it's all on me for not understanding at a younger age and not embracing it at a younger age. And now that I'm older, you know, I'm trying to bring it into the kids, but not doing a very good job, very honestly.
I would challenge you on that because, you know, one of the things that struck me about what you said was, you know, in our secular life versus our Jewish life. I would suggest, especially you, that you live a Jewish life, that your secular life is your Jewish life and you lead it Jewishly. Maybe not consciously, maybe you're not like saying a prayer every time you walk through a door or every time you sit down for a meal, but I think that perhaps the messages that you gave your children were the messages of Lador Vador.
And you are so involved and helping out the community so much that, right, it can't, you know, that's a great modeling for your kids, right? Right, and I try to do the same because, you know, I grew up, I was kind of a typical kind of strange LA Jew. Growing up, we always considered ourselves Jewish, but we didn't belong to a temple. We liked Christmas, so we had Christmas tree and we opened presents on Christmas, and a lot of LA Jews seem to do that. But then, as we kind of later in life, my sister and I both thought this is really kind of strange, and we need to probably stop that. And then I married someone who was very kind of from the East Coast, and you know, he was Jewish, and when we had kids, we knew they were going to go through the whole thing. So as far as Lador Vador for us was kind of joining this temple, which I'd never joined a temple before, and you know, having my kids go through the entire religious school and bar mitzvah and bat mitzvah, and now they have, you know, kind of, especially my daughter has really embraced and you know, comes to high holidays when she can, and you know, they both live, you know, a Jewish life because we kind of, you know, pass that on to them just through our involvement. And then I'm hoping that, because I'm very active and I'm on the board and I handle all the streaming and everything, and I'm always here, so I'm kind of hoping that I'm modeling that for, you know, giving to my community, and you know, modeling, you know, the same for my kids and pass that on.
I also want to say, thank you, Jeff. I also want to say, this is for you guys, and I'm talking to the folks that are here this evening who may not be parents yet, may not have a sense of what that means. I am curious, how did you receive Lador Vador? I mean, we don't see, usually it's Altacockers that are here tonight, not young people, so we're like thrilled that you chose to spend your Friday night with us, but I'd be curious to hear about your receipt, your perception of L'Adore Vador as a child, as a grandchild.
So I'm not exactly sure where to look right now. So.
Oh, don't worry about it. They can hear you, but they can't see you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you did want to look, you're actually you might actually be in the camera, but it's right above and to the left of that red light. What's that?
So it actually has quite a direct meaning, I think, to my wife and I. So we're actually in the process of working with the rabbi to convert. I have ancestry that was Jewish, going back to my grandfather, and it wasn't carried through. And I didn't like that. I didn't like that I carried a name that didn't have the meaning behind it. And really, once Lily and I got married, we decided that we wanted our children to, if they're going to have the name, then they should have the whole culture, tradition, and community with it, the heritage. So for me, it really does speak a lot to generation to go. That's really why we're here tonight, frankly.
That's wonderful. From a name, I think that is incredibly sweet. Would either of you like to say something? You don't have to. This is not like mandatory. But would either of you like to add something?
I can extend off of what you were saying. I have Jewish ancestry, but way back. Wasn't raised really in a Jewish community, and then met Ben, and like he says, this name really played a role because everyone just presumed I was Jewish once they heard my last name, and I really wanted to know for when we have children, like, how can I make them feel confident in who they are and where their history's from? Because that has been lost, as you were saying, through these generations, and I want them to know about themselves, and that is such a key part of who they are. They are Jewish in their ancestry, and that was what kind of like drove us to begin this process.
Lovely. I think that it is very difficult to be Jewish, whether you were raised Jewishly or not. It is difficult to be Jewish without a community, because, and especially for you guys, because you don't have the sort of traditional from generation to generation. Think of this community as your parents, your grandparents, and embrace that and be aware that you are welcomed, and it's part of what we do. So we're just thrilled. You want to say something?
So, actually, kind of from a little bit of the similar circumstance, I actually been always attracted to Judaism for since I was actually a kid. Like when I started in the Boy Scouts, I had some close friends who were Jewish, and I wasn't raised Jewish. As a matter of fact, my both my parents were Catholic, but something about Judaism and Israel just always spoke to my heart, and I was always drawn to it. And then when I got to college, I really started diving, and then I only read from the Siddur, and I say the Shema. I try to say the Shema every single day, but I know it's like you were just saying, it's not easy to be Jewish. And I'm when I did my ancestry test, I found out I was a little bit of Jewish, and because actually, as I was speaking, one of the members here earlier, it's actually have like a Hispanic background, and they were saying like during in Spain a lot of people were converted over. So
That's right.
actually, so to me it made sense. I mean, so yeah, I'm thankful to be here, and like you said, I'm very new to this congregation, and yeah, I'm glad to be here tonight.
It's interesting your background coming from Spain and being Catholic, because that's what happened to a lot of Jews who wanted to not get killed. They either converted or they pretended to convert, and so you may well be part of that tradition.
So I visited friends years ago in Santa Fe. They'd moved from LA to Santa Fe, and they said in Santa Fe there was a whole group of Jews called Ladinos who would when they were in Spain, they would practice in secret, right? Because otherwise they get persecuted by the Inquisition. And then a lot of them migrated to, to the New World when it was under, the rule of Spain. And a lot of them settled in Santa Fe, and there was just still a whole kind of community of Latinos who still celebrated kind of, practiced, in secret, just not out in the world. So,
No, that's really cool.
yeah.
Thank you, Jeff. Sue?
So to me, Lador has always been very central to Jewish religion and tradition. We name our children after a Jewish ancestor who's no longer living traditionally. And that's our way of living on through our next generations and next generations. So that's like a very, visceral example of it's carrying on Lador from generation to generation. Kind of another like very stage production of Lador is when the children are up on the bima, getting their B'nai Mitzvah, and literally like passing the Torah from grandparent to parent to B'nai Bar Bat Mitzvah child, and it's just the most beautiful and moving thing, thinking about where that Torah has come from and how many people have read the pages of that Torah of all ages and all generations, and then it's going down to your child who's becoming, a young adult. It's so moving. The traditions in Judaism are so rich, I feel like it just is. Like it's so hard to articulate what it is about the Jewish traditions, but we just have been taught those growing up. And we're examples of that to our children. And so hopefully, and we never force-fed our kids religion, but hopefully they will take some of it into their own lives as adults, and now my children are. I've got grandkids, and my daughter has declared that she, wants to do Shabbat every Friday, and I'm like, oh, thank you. Thank you, Lord.
If only.
So, it does kind of seep through from generation to generation. So,
Thank you,
it's a
Sue.
beautiful
And by the way, good job with that. Oh my goodness.
Oh, and then actually I fast for Yom Kippur now, and it's because my daughter, who went to the Jewish Camp Newman, and she started doing it, and she wanted to do it one year, and so we both did it, and so she was the one who got me to.
Lador.
Yeah, exactly. In reverse.
In reverse, yeah.
Do other synagogues during the B'nai Mitzvah process do the same thing that we do?
That's a really good question. I don't know the answer to that. I certainly, at my synagogue in Marin County where I grew up, that did not happen. There was no passing of the Torah like that. I think it's lovely on so many levels.
It depends. My niece was bat mitzvahed in a congregation in Long Beach, and basically the rabbi had her leading the whole service.
Yeah.
Really, she was up there and she was doing prayers and she was calling people up, and she was really the boss. So, it's different congregations have different traditions.
Yeah. Well, thank you all for your contributions. As I said, Lador Vador is something very, very meaningful. It is, both personally and historically, and it's an aspect of our tradition that emphasizes the fact that the only way the tradition continues is to send it Lador Vador. So, Ken Yehi Ratzon. So let's see, why don't we go to 107. So we're going to sing Oseh Shalom, which is the fourth paragraph in Hebrew. The transliteration is the fourth line down in the English on 107. Ose shalom bimroma, uyase shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru, imru, amen. Ose shalom bimroma, uyase shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru, imru, amen. Yahase shalom, Yahase shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, Yahase shalom, Yahase shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru, imru, amen. So, Larry, do we have a Misha Barak list tonight? Okay. So you get to make up your own Misha Barak list. There are people in all of our lives who are in need of healing, and this part of this service is about focusing our attention on them, focusing our intention to do something about it, meaning to comfort them, to visit them, to call them, to send a card. You have no idea how, well, maybe you do. Many have no idea about how meaningful a really, really small gesture, like picking up the phone and calling and saying, hey, heard you were sick, hope you're feeling better. Zoe Goldblatt, I hope you're feeling better. We don't have a list, so I'd just like to take 20 seconds, let's say, of just closing your eyes and thinking about someone who needs this prayer and who will be spiritually nourished and hopefully helped along the way to health as we sing. So just picture them. Bob Slonowitz? Anybody else? Have anybody that they'd like to mention? Yeah, Zoe and Rabbi Dan. I'm sorry. This is on our single sheet there. It's number 15. So you guys can sing along. Okay. Mi sheberach avotenu mekor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us to find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mi sheberach imotenu mekor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. So I'm going to ask our Director of Religious Affairs to come on up and read the yard site list this evening, and then we'll do the mourner's Kaddish.
So it's been a while since we've had a live in-person Shabbat, so these go back to the middle of December. Selma Brown, mother of Jane Ware. Leon Waxman, father of Steve Waxman. Jack Becker, father of Jeff, father of Leonard. Gordon Taylor, father of Kelly Holden. Harold Candle, father of Sandy Morris. Jacob Wexler, father of Deborah Wexler. Dorothy Herlick, mother of Ray Kaur. Tamara Grelk, daughter of Bobby and Neil Bernstein. Beverly Benavista, mother of Daniel Benavista. Deborah Butter, mother of Jessica Colas. Edward Letterman, father of Herb Letterman. Gary Schabacher, father of Glenn Schabacher. John Slomowitz, father of Bob Slomowitz. Elmer Angelo, father of Brian Angelo. Emily Stolbard, mother of Jody Dice. Dennis Sorhagen, father of James Sorhagen. Lee Chazan, mother of David Chazan. Samuel Ware, father of Gary Ware. Tilly Katz, mother of William Katz. David Letterman, brother of Herb Letterman. Arlene Daxon, sister of Art. Harriet Silver, I apologize, some relation to Lisa Ruderman. Morris Krantz, father of Julie. Bernice Weiner, mother of Greg Weiner. Leonard Yamshan, father of Paul Yamshan. Mel Igus, father of Peter Igus. Michael Kameroff, husband of Lois Kameroff. Pat Hedgemanic, mother of Steve. Carol Wexler, mother of Deborah Wexler. Lawrence Bowman, father of Stacy Levy. Herb Gidak, father of Rona Schulman. Mila Slomowitz, mother of Bob Slomowitz. Harley James, father of Trish Slomowitz. Meyer Hyman, father of Lynn. Betty Cohen, mother of Cheryl. Ira Saracen, father of Lynn Chazan. Albert Mazer, father of Mark Mazer. Lucille Ware, mother of Gary Ware. Barton Menzin, father of Jane Sondel. Reva Lee, sister of Bobby Bernstein. Shirley Gidak, mother of Rona Schulman. Nancy Leibowitz, sister of Debbie Roof. Sidney Churgell, father of Ellen Waskey. Ari Mazer, son of Mark and Susan Mazer. Annette Norman, mother of Shelley Norman. And Leroy Goldman, father of Janet Lieber. May the memory be blessed.
Zichronam L'Rocha, may their memories be a blessing. Yet another manifestation of this concept of L'Ador V'Ador. We say these names out loud to keep their memories alive. As we hear them, as we remember them, they remain with us. So now let's turn to page 131. Is anybody here for the first time after the death of a loved one? Anybody observing anybody in the first year of mourning for a loved one? If you are, please rise. And anybody observing a yard site, the anniversary of the death of a loved one, even if we didn't read their name, you're invited to rise as well. I'm sorry? Terry Donner. So the Mourner's Cottage can be found on pages 130 and 131, transliteration on 130 and the Hebrew on 131. Yit Gadal v'yit Gadash Shemei Rabbah Yalmad Yivra Kirutei v'yamlich Malchutei v'chayachon v'yomechon v'chayei dekol Beit Yisrael ba'agalah v'zman kariv v'yimru Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam le'omei olmaya Yit Barak v'yishtabak v'yit par v'yit roman v'yit naseh V'yit hadar, v'yit halev, v'yit halal, shemei dekudasha barichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, da'amiran v'alma v'yimru, amen. Yehei shlam rava min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru, amen. Oseh shalom bim romav, hu yaseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'al kol yoshvei tevel, v'yimru, amen. Thank you. So a couple of announcements, and you may have some more, Larry, after I read these. January 26th, Friday at 6 p.m., we're going to have another Shabbat dinner together and celebrate Tu B'Shvat with Sacred Fire, I think out on the patio. Is that right? The Sacred Fire service for Tu B'Shvat? Dan says it's January 26th. Okay, yeah. So come with sacred flashlights, yeah. And then the day before, for those of you, again, Lador, Thursday night here, we're going to have an informational meeting if, as an adult, you would like to experience B'nai Mitzvah. And I think this is, if you haven't had one, and I know my friend Jeff was a B'nai Mitzvah as an adult. It is, I think, as someone who was B'nai Mitzvah at 13, I think that becoming a Bar Mitzvah when you're an adult and can actually appreciate it as opposed to just waiting for the party, is a wonderful thing. And so if you are interested, come the 25th of January, 7 p.m. here at Beth Haim, and learn a little bit about what the process might be like for you to go through a bar mitzvah and receive the Torah, Lador Vador. But Larry, did you have any other announcements? Okay. So that concludes our service. Thank you so much for joining us from the World Wide Web and to my friends here and my both old and new friends. Thank you for coming to share Shabbat with me. Jeff, thank you so much for your ongoing technical support and making it possible for those of us who can't be here to be here. Shabbat Shalom.